I've been making short videos, trying just kind of update daily, kind of all this mess. Obviously, having new microphone stuff like that, and more new stuff. I want to try them out, really, being honest with you. And I've been making other videos, just personal videos, putting them all on a stick down now. Hopefully, someday I'm going to give them to some kind of documentary maker or something like. There's lots and lots of paperwork as well included with it that supports everything I'm saying. But obviously, in my last video, I ended up getting a bit kind of like, see the parts in it where I was getting a bit kind of worked up. I'm trying to stay calm now on this one. But this is basically what happened in court. And they said then I had anger issues and stuff, but like some of the topics what I was talking about, like they would make you angry and they would emit some kind of like anger response. This is what was happening, and I find it hard then vocabularizing what I want to say, if I'm being honest with you there now. So I'm going to make some interviews over the next couple of weeks in the new year there now, and I'm going to upload them. You don't have to watch them. Watch them if you want. It's up to yourself. I have my website up and running, as I said in the last video. I want to talk about how I met my ex. I met her in rehab, and how like we were both taking drugs and all that shit, and we were both taking, not just me having a go at her. And the reason I'm saying this now is because she put an article in the Irish Independent there recently saying how she's 15 years clean. It was fucking 10 years ago she left me with a bill of money she owed for heroin to someone up in Dublin, so it looks full of shit like. But it's relevant to what I have to say after that. That's really why I'm going to be bringing it up. Obviously, I won't be mentioning any names for legal reasons. I want to talk then about joining that Baha'i, that religion. The husband and wife both being psychologists, the wife being employed by Waterford Tusla. The husband was inviting students from the psychology class that I was attending out in Tramore up to his house. I'm going to make a video out in Tramore soon enough, and it'll show you the actual whereabouts of where I'm talking about. And I want to talk about the wife. That wife had two incidents. That wife had involvement, in two incidents with my family years prior to that, and I just didn't recognise her. Now, ethically, she shouldn't have been anywhere near my family, and all this was all covered up, and I spoke about this in previous videos. So I'm going to just kind of talk about that in a more concise manner. Obviously, it's going to take me a couple of videos to get all this information out, because believe it or not, this all started in 2013. In another 2-3 days now it's going to be 2023, so we're going into my 10th year. So it's a long time when you think about it. I want to talk about the court proceedings that I brought in 2015, how they were corrupted, how I was purposely misled by my solicitor. More importantly, I think the judge deserves to know how a solicitor purposely misled him. Like, I think that's very relevant to this, if I'm being honest with you. And they're desperate for that judge not to find out. I want to speak about how the actions of like David Conlan and his cronies like ended up getting involved in this. Like, I didn't purposely just pick fucking Sinn Féin out of the sky and decided to start like speaking badly about Sinn Féin. If you notice, I've not spoke badly about any party. It was just Mr. Conlan and his cronies. His cronies met my ex. And from there, then Mr. Conlan got involved by fucking sending my wife a friend request and all this kind of shit. And then like, and then to protect his actions, then basically when it got really out of hand, that's when Sinn Féin, they could have either distanced themselves from him, which I tried to do. I purposely tried to distance like Mr. Conlan's cronies from Sinn Féin because I didn't want Sinn Féin. I didn't want to like accuse them all of being kind of like the way he's been acting, basically, and his cronies. But they have since supported him, so I want to talk about that. Like, how to say this? Had a video. As you know, my videos, they were up around 1,000 views basically on my videos. And then there was a meal on the Tower Hotel the 22nd of November. Spoke about this in the last video. And from that meal, then it exploded up to 10,000 views. Now, obviously, that's after the meal. You can obviously put two and two together and say, well, obviously, it was circulated throughout Sinn Féin, and kind of what it was more or less, it was a veiled threat, I'd imagine, because they didn't subscribe to just view the videos. Have an increase of 9,000 views. over a week or two like, is quite a lot. So obviously I was supposed to be somewhat kind of worried. I'm not worried. Not a bravado thing either. I'm just not worried. And if you're able to circulate this throughout Sinn Féin and around the Sinn Féin, I think Sinn Féin then should investigate it and they should distance themselves from Mr. Cullen and his cronies. After spending decades cleaning up their image, why in God's name would you like jump to the defence of him? I understand that you have so much invested in him. I understand you have so much invested in him in getting him into the position he's in, as much as he thinks that he got himself into the position. We all know Sinn Féin got Mr. Cullen into the position he did. But after he's up to rat comes, I believe he should have been removed then. And then there's further incidents, which I'm not going to get into because they're in the other videos. But as I said, I've written to Miss Mary Lou MacDonald. I've also written to Leo Varadkar, the All Marin, the Green Party, fucking people before profit. I've written to all of these, and anyone that gets back to me, I'll update. Like I won't make it all one sided or anything like that. Like and I say it like it is, and I'd welcome any push for this to be investigated through the door by any party, including Sinn Féin. As I said, it's Mr. Cullen who dragged Sinn Féin into this and his cronies, and the Sinn Féin unfortunately chose to support Mr. Cullen and his cronies. For Sinn Féin rather to deal with like Mr. Cullen and his cronies, and like, we all know about Mr. Henry Halligan at Ballybeg Church, how he passed a private email that I had written to a priest. This went back to who? David Cullen of Sinn Féin yet again. Like there's multiple actions of Sinn Féin, like the actions of two council workers getting caught out to me mothers who had knowledge of that. Joe Daniels, also a sympathiser of Sinn Féin. So there's Sinn Féin again, like you know what I mean, coming into the neighbours up in Barrack Street, they canvass for who? David Cullen of Sinn Féin. See what I mean? So it constantly goes back to Sinn Féin. So Sinn Féin should have stepped up and separated themselves instead of harassing me, my wife, and my daughter, which is basically this is the new kind of thing. We all know the shit now that's been spread around that condones their kind of actions. Well, in an effort that they're trying to condone their actions. That's basically all they're trying to do, if I'm being honest with you. That's going on within their party, if I'm being honest with you. And if I have to be at risk for calling out the association of a politician that's associated with the nepotism in a charity of a family for decades, fucking decades, getting state funded payment. You know what I mean? Not to mention the historic sexual abuse, fucking like claims. I'm not saying there's nothing there because legally I can't. I have to just, even though I know more than most, if I'm being honest with you. But if you have the same people pulling the same strings, like you're going to get the same results. That's all I'm going to say about that. There's going to be no difference to that. We've had all of this before. There'll be no difference. And I commend the person that has come forward because I know there's two or three other people kind of watching from the sidelines to see what happened. But what's actually happening is they're actually watching to see the grueling that I'm getting, and it's probably putting them off coming forward. So any person that's assisting this group should be called out because this is basically what they're also assisting is the cover up of the sexual abuse claims, which needs to come out and needs to be investigated. And the nepotism that has gone on that fucking charity for decades, not even years, decades gone on. Like you can actually check all this online. I went back and I checked all this online, and you can see the amount of like have that many family members in a state-funded charity being paid by, by the state, basically, not a family business. It's a state-funded business, and they're being paid. That should be investigated because I dare like stand my ground and talk about things that need to be spoken about or tell the truth. Like I'm at risk. Like and I'm making myself more at risk, but it is what it is. I don't tend to back down now. But like this shouldn't be the way it is. 2023. You should be entitled to have a fucking voice. I mean, it'd be different if I was lying. And if I was lying, they'd be able to go into the courts and drag me through the courts and all this kind of shit. Like, but as I said, I'm 10 years going into this. I've never lied. I've only fucking spoke about the truth. Why they do everything and anything to suppress what I have to say. Why do you think they're trying to suppress what I'm trying to say and not go to the guards? I'm being harassed alright by the guards. They're driving past my apartment fucking 20 times a day, sirens on for 2 or 3 seconds, blaring. Like as I said, I just record it. There's not really much more else I can do. I record it. I don't trust Waterford Gardaí. I stopped writing up to that superintendent because let's just say I stopped writing up to him. I'm dealing with more Garda there now. They're more civil. Let's just put it that way. As well, I wanted to bring up regarding that charity, right, that I spoke of, right? There's a person up there that has been promoted, right? That had a relationship with a. She wanted to work. What did you say it was? She was originally. She joined as a student. Is it? I don't know what way to phrase that. She joined as a student, right? And then she worked her way up to be a volunteer or something like that. And this person, he's a worker, grown man. You could have said there's grounds down now for fucking grooming going on there. But he ended up having a relationship with her. Do you think if that was in a school and a teacher, right, had a relationship with a pupil, he would then be promoted to be principal? No, he wouldn't. And why wouldn't he? Because it's fucking unethical and it breaches all kinds of codes of fucking ethics and conduct. And they don't want me talking about this, but this is all factual. This is all true. Trying to read off some documents fucking here, and I can't read my own right. So I'm trying to get more comfortable now talking on camera because in the new year I'm going to make more and more videos and I'm going to put more up. I also want to talk about like the failure and duty of care by Waterford Council, which is again being covered up by a member of fucking Sinn Féin again. See, this is why I keep bringing up Sinn Féin is because these people are like a part of this. You know what I mean? It's not my fault that these people are a part of this. I'm only talking the truth. If these people weren't a part of this, I wouldn't be speaking this. And if they were part of another political party, I would say it. You know what I mean? But they're not. These people just happen to be associated with this party, and it's basically there's an issue with the whole culture of cronyism in Waterford. If I'm being honest with you, and it's rampant in Waterford, and it needs to be called out. And I'm not saying it's a whole nationwide thing with Sinn Féin, but I'm just saying in Waterford it's definitely an issue. Then we have the failure and duty of care by Waterford Gardaí. Like, don't even get me started with that. I'm being assaulted by a sergeant in front of my wife even. Like, this goes on to them swapping summonses and fucking it gets crazy. But I'm gonna make a couple of interviews, a couple of videos in the new year, and I'll explain all this crazy stuff. And as I said, you'll be pushed not to listen to this, not to view my videos. And I'm only asking you just you do listen to him and have an open mind listening to him, and I'll explain and I'll join all the dots, which is what they don't want me doing, because they don't want any negativity brought to them or their party or their reputation. They don't want me highlighting the wrong that they've done. So I shall leave it there, and I hope my microphone worked, otherwise that was a waste of time. Thanks. Sexual slander which was circulated yet again, and this happened after a meal in the hotel. Spoken about already, and the views jumped from 1,000 up to 10,000 views. Shown basically I was supposed to feel somewhat threatened when after having the views going from 1,000 views to 10,000 views. That's basically it. But in the same kind of breath, it also showed that they're aware of what's going on. So if they're so like morally put out, should they not go to the guards? Unless of course they are assisting the corruption and supporting like those that I've spoken about in their party that are up to their neck in the corruption it is. So like if you're that so morally put out, there's fucking 10,000 of you now. So go up to the guards then now. The only thing I ask, you can go up and say that it's mine. But the only thing I ask is that you say where it came from. You know what I mean? So it's about getting to the root of the problem really at this point. And then yeah, I'm gonna start making I'm gonna try anyway. I'm gonna start documenting this. And I've written to every party, as I said. And like I'm not saying that all parties are involved in this, and I'm not saying all members of Sinn Féin are involved in this either. But any response I get from any party, I'll update. Any response I get from the guards, I'll update. I'll update all of that because I don't want to be like certain people and preach fucking transparency when in fact they're just bullshitters basically. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna like gather up as much documentation, as much video evidence, and someday, hopefully, someone will have the balls to look through it and they'll see what needs to be seen. And obviously, then there's those then who will hope that this never sees the light of day because it's such a fucking disaster. You know, such a 10 years of this bullshit. The only thing I've ever called for was an investigation. And after all the shit from being assaulted, having your character destroyed, fucking drugs planted, fucking files going missing, like this, the one thing they couldn't facilitate was to have an investigation. But it was it was the only thing I ever requested was to have an investigation. Why do you think that can't be? Why do you think that they go through them measures? You know what I mean? And then they have support from the political party that built their whole kind of, like for the past decades, cleaned their image, pointing their fingers at other parties and the cronies involved. And now they're after jumping to the defence of like Mr. Conan and his cronies. Well, I'm going to call that out. And I'm aware people are saying that, like, putting myself in danger. Like, if speaking the truth puts me in danger, so be it. I'm definitely going to fucking say it like it is. Wherever it takes me, so be it. So, like, I'll upload some new videos on my new website in the new year. Get my head around the website there now, and I'll upload the videos onto that and on the YouTube channel. Except now, I've tried to follow procedure, I tried to follow protocol. They've time and time again, they've doctored evidence time and time again. So now, like, there's not really much point in me following procedure protocol anymore now. So I should just start uploading the evidence, to be honest with you. Because after like nearly 10 years, you can say, well, it's not going to be looked into. So like, there's only so much you can flog a dead horse, as they say. So I should upload this, and I'm going to link. And you see, I'm going to show many people linked to this are members of Sinn Féin and are members of other parties. And it's up to Sinn Féin, I believe, to deal with these members. And rather than spread the sexual slander that was spread to destroy my character, that was basically brought down by my ex and past the cronies of Mr. Conlan from Barrack Street there. And then again on Spring Gardens, again out in Tramore. All three people didn't know each other, but they all had contact the week beforehand with the ex. And now it would appear that it's been spread again, but this time through the Sinn Féin network. It's been done already before, we all know this. People in Waterford will know that I'm telling the truth. You know? So for any politicians choosing to get involved in this, the only thing the only thing you could possibly do is push for an investigation, a transparent investigation, and that would weed out all the liars, basically. You know what I mean? From day one, what I've spoken about was actually true, and this is why they won't look into it. Do you not think this is not after been looked into behind everyone's fucking back already, just to see is there anything there that I could be lying about that could bring me to court to shut me up? This has all been looked into already. I guarantee you that. You know what I mean? Hustler has put up the usual fucking wall of we don't have to respond to you. Usual shite. The person in question is above the age of 21 years of age, so they basically said that they don't have to give me access to the paperwork to support what I was at to say about the psychologist. Her husband is all on record out there. Make a video, and I'm going to show like where these meetings of this religion was done out in Tramore. And from then on, I suppose you'll see that I'm kind of in it for the fucking long run. I'm not going to keep going on about what I'm going to do. I'm going to just do on the new year. I'll upload my new channel. So I'm just going to leave it there. And as I said, if Sinn Féin, if you're not like covering up the corruption and collusion of members of your party, and this is a moral issue, such a moral issue, you can spread it within your party, and my viewers can jump from 1,000 views to 10,000 views. Maybe you should go to the guards with it. And all I ask is that you say where this came from. That's all I ask. You don't even have to give your name, you can do it anonymously. Just go and say that where this came from. it's fine. I say it, that should be investigated. That you got to offer such and such a person, that they got off such and such a person, and we'll trace the whole lot back once and for all. And in the meantime, then someone should look into the nepotism in the charity and which politicians are closely linked to the people within that party. I'm going to leave it there. I think I've kind of said enough there now over the past fucking 9 years. So it's time to start doing. That's it. Happy New Year. So it's New Year's Day, or New Year's morning, should I say. I get up really early. So just want to end the last video. I want to say a few things just beforehand. I have a couple of bullet points here in front of me if I keep looking away, so that's what's up. I to talk more concisely. Over the next few days there, I'm going to upload my website there, and I'm going to start putting my videos out, as I've said previously in other videos. Like, realistically, the corruption, the collusion there was so bad in this, as it's gone on for 10 years now. Like, realistically, it can't really ever be dealt with in the proper manner, and be dealt with accordingly, because it would rock the whole system, being honest with you. But what I can do is I can highlight the people involved and bring attention to how unethical and how corrupt these people are, which is what basically is my intention. Because if I had the money, I would sue the bollocks of the state. When being honest with you, I got a quote that was over €100,000 to bring a case, even though I probably would have a case for failure on duty of care. Go through the High Courts up in Dublin, but even if I had the money, I don't even think I probably would have, been honest with you. Because realistically, would you get that money back? I'm not really too sure. But that's how much it costs. So they know all this. They have unlimited solicitors, unlimited funds. So that's the position there. You have a psychologist employed by Waterford Tussle after setting out to destroy someone's life, to destroy their family's life, destroy their character, label someone wrongly a fucking paedophile to cover their own actions. And because that person stood their ground, which is me obviously, and all I ever pushed for was an investigation, and they couldn't even facilitate that. Do you know what I mean? Because really what happened is behind closed doors, they went and checked to see what I was saying, and they seen that I was actually telling the truth. So now they won't even take the documents off me because they know what I have, basically. But this woman is employed by Waterford fucking Tussle. She's in our health service. You have someone recruiting for a religion, an unethical religion at that. This is not a hate crime or any stuff like that. I'm just saying there's loads of stuff that goes on in that religion that should be spoken about, that they don't tell you when you're joining or anything. How they have their own laws and all this kind of stuff and their own sentences, and I won't say too much more about it, but I'm just saying this woman is involved in our health system, our healthcare system, sorry, and her husband also a teacher, teaching psychology, and the two of these people are roping people into this fucking religion, and no one is batting an eyelid. You have so-called members of the community, standing fucking members of the community, or whatever way you want to put it, pillars of the community, and they're involved in corruption and fucking nepotism and cronyism, and because they couldn't get what they want, then they resorted to criminality. These people should all be called out. You know what I mean? It's just easier to target me because basically I'm on my own and have a small support network, and that's it. And all my family around me that got harassed, it's all just collateral damage. And all I've ever requested was an open investigation, and that way then if I'm deemed to have done something, you'd be able to fucking shut me up once and for all, wouldn't you? I've repeatedly highlighted the cronyism and the collusion that has gone on in this for years. I've highlighted how members of Sinn Féin have abused their power. Now Sinn Féin now has supported them, and it's not me having a go with Sinn Féin, as it probably fucking seems like I am. Sinn Féin could have easily just stepped away from this person and said, well, look, you have to bring in negativity to the party more than fucking once, so enough is enough. But instead of that, they chose to support him and back him because around him there was other people involved who campaigned for him. So then there was people in Waterford Council also linked to him. So you know what I mean? So they chose to support him. So to me, that leaves you open to me calling you out. And if I have to feel threatened, I've said all this already, like, so be it. Like I'm too old to be fucking living in fear now, to be honest with you. Like the actions of Henry Halligan. We all know all this. He interfered in my mother's funeral. Like, and I wrote to that bishop like 11 times. I wrote to that bishop to complain about him, and 10 times he ignored me. And the 11th time I registered the letter and I told him I was going to send it to every priest in Waterford and I was uploading online. And then he answered me, and only then did he answer me. And he apologised for my experiences with Mr. Halligan and that it was going to be looked into. And then he covered his arse. If I'm being honest with you, that's what happened. I've since written to the head of the bishops up in Armagh, Eamon Mountain, I believe his name is. But I was so pissed off at that Henry Halligan and his actions, local hypocrite as we know that. But I went to a solicitor because I wanted action taken, and it turns out the same solicitor that represents the bishop is the same solicitor that represents fucking the Halligan family. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's that in there, but I'm just saying that's how close knit it is in Waterford. We all know, like I've been speaking about, like the local charity, which is Children's Group, and the nepotism that's involved in that. And like, if I'm wrong, like I could easily be proven wrong. I could easily be proven right. Actually, if you go online, you'll see that I'm actually proven right. You can see the nepotism that has gone on there. And like when you have that kind of nepotism and you have a state funded charity and so many people receiving payment from the state, like it's not a fucking privately owned charity, you know what I mean? It's a state funded. Like this is hypothetical now. Before anyone jumps at me, like let's just say you have someone accused of fucking some misdemeanor, say or fucking or something else more serious, say fucking historic sexual abuse. This is hypothetical now, remember. And how is that person really going to be truly investigated when you have so many like members on the board which have a bit of pull for this person? Like, is that really going to be investigated properly? You know what I mean? You have to leave her. You have to like wonder. You know what I mean? And that's why this is why they don't have nepotism in jobs, like, because of this, because it interferes with people who earn the job, like the meritocracy, people getting the job on merit because they've earned the fucking job, not because they're just related to someone. I'm aware now what I'm saying there now is not going to go down too well, but as you can see also by what I'm saying, it shows that I'm fucking committed to this. For 10 years, I'm going into my 10th year now with this. Fucking, I probably said all this in the other video. Yeah, but I've no intention of giving up there now. I got an email actually the 25th of December, as we all know is Christmas Day, from the guards, whatever Gardaí, and they were fucking basically trying to push me to fucking to have my mother-in-law have a certain person in Waterford that I was arguing with charged. It would have basically just blown up all this now. We sorted our difference with this chap. And fucking, how do I say, he was put up to it by a certain party, let's just put it that way. It's all been sorted anyway. But the only benefits of him being charged would have been like throwing it all back up again for fucking me and for him. And not only that, but I would have stored it back up for these people who deserve to be left alone. Now, the guards even know there's other issues here. I'm not going to get into it because they're private issues. But the guards know that these people should be left alone with everything going on. And the guards try to store this shit back up again. Do you know what I mean? And if that person watching this video, you should be aware there now that the guards are trying to fucking store it up. I had a journalist that was willing to look into this from a red top newspapers. I don't know what you call them. I'm not sure if that's what you call them. But he basically informed me that he was kind of warned off exposing what I was talking about, and he kind of like stepped back. There's been other journalists and they kind of fobbed me off, but this he was honest enough to tell me like the way it was, and basically told me to watch me back. I know this whole thing is not for everyone, but as I said before in previous video, I'd rather try and fail, even if it takes me fucking 10 years or even 20 years, or even if God fucking forbids and he leaves me fucking live for 30 years, I'll keep going with it. So be it. Like. I just need to have a more concise and level-headed manner about it, which I'm going to. In the new year now, I have my website made, and I'm going to start uploading my videos in a more concise manner, and I want to upload paperwork in the right order with a couple of interviews as well that supports what I'm saying. And I'm going to show you like where these meetings of this religion happened out in Tramore as well. Like that member of that family interfering with my mother's funeral, and I'm supposed to, just like other members of my family, fucking walk away with my tail between my legs. Like fuck that. You know what I mean? That's not me. It's as simple as that. And I'd rather fucking die trying. Local fucking hypocrite. Decades, decades getting stuff covered up. Like, there's actually people now looking at what I'm going through, and they're kind of put off. They were going to come forward because we all know. I have to choose my words carefully here now. We all know that someone has come forward, and there's actually other people waiting to come forward, but they're waiting to see um, who's pulling strings and who's applying pressure for these people. Well, obviously someone is pulling strings, and obviously someone is applying pressure. Like interfering with my mother's funeral was a hornet's nest that they really shouldn't have fucking poked. You know what I mean? And like that means more to me than fucking any threats or any kind of any harassment or any shit like that. And I have to say, what if a Gardaí, you're doing a fine effort of harassing fucking like my wife, my daughter, myself, like well, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. And Sinn Féin, all I can say down now, because I know like you won't be happy with me drawing attention to the negativity to your party. Because if there's one thing I know which you don't fucking ever deal with is any kind of cronyism or negativity regarding your own party. Whereas you're quick enough to point the finger at other parties. Whereas you polished up your image there now, I understand that you might have so much invested in Mr. Culman and his cronies and like, well, do you know what I mean? I think like they've caused more damage to your reputation than I have. I'm simply telling the truth, and I shouldn't have to feel harassed or intimidated or bullied because I want to speak the truth. So I leave it there now. I'm on my website ready to go. I'll upload it all. I'll upload my documentation, and I'll make my videos now more concise and more to the point. And I'll upload what the issue is and whether or not there's documentation. And if there is documentation or supporting evidence, why isn't it being investigated? You know what I mean? And certain parties that are assisting this cover up, like, should be called out to prevent them from doing it again. I'd like to think like that they're assisting me, but realistically, is to prevent them from doing it again. So I'll leave it there. Happy New Year. Thanks.